Welcome to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We're live inside Muscatine Hy-Vee on 2nd Avenue in Muscatine. Streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Now, here's Tony Tone.
So, see, I bit.
Oh, all right, we're here. Happy Friday, everybody. It's good to be with you. Let me get my phone over here so I can keep an eye on any comments or questions that come in. Welcome to the program, Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. As the man just said, that man, by the way, that does the voiceover is my former radio coworker, Red Hot Brian Scott, who is now in Peoria, Illinois. And he did that voice work almost 2 years ago. It's crazy to think how fast time goes by. It's good to be with you. We are here inside, nice and air-conditioned. The heat and humidity are coming back. Lutheran Living Senior Campus weather forecast for today, very humid, a high of 88. Tonight, clear and humid, a low of 70. And then on Saturday, sunny, hot, and humid, a high of 92. I have to imagine that it'll be one of those things where you take into account the heat index, and it'll feel like it's, 100 tomorrow. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a meteorologist, but that's what it's going to be like, right? So, check in on people that may need a hand, make sure they're okay, and stay cool, literally. I want to mention something that's happening tonight at Arden Creek. We talked to Paul and Wayne, two of the members, the Lefty and the Spinners. They're doing a concert at Arden Creek tonight, expecting a large crowd for that. You can head out to Arden Creek, short jaunt from Muscatine. Music starts at 6. Bring a chair, sit outside, bring a blanket, have a good time with those guys. I think it's going to be packed. I mean, it's social distance packed, but don't wait and get there late. I feel like I'm rhyming. Everything I've said has had a rhyme to it. Go see Lefty and the Spinners tonight at Arden Creek. It'll be a good time. And say hi to Diane and the crew, okay? Real quick, the local ad that's on the back page of the newspaper this week. A couple things just to point out. We'll do that really quick. The Baking for a Cause. You can purchase some Bakery Fresh hamburger buns, and then when you do that, we'll donate a loaf of Bakery Fresh bread to the Salvation Army and MCSA's food pantries. We've got Chinese dinner for 4. We've got coupons that can get you some freebies when you buy ribs and Deluso chicken or turkey, calzones. We're talking about shingle shots in this ad. That's important if you're over 50 years old. And then how about a 10-cent fuel saver on any breakfast, $4.99 and above. So great deal right there. And then looking ahead to Monday, you can save 15 cents off a gallon with every 20 bucks you spend when you buy things from meat, seafood, and deli here at the store. Two things really quick, and then we'll get to our first guest that's waiting. I just want to remind you about the $10 dozen rose sale. A dozen roses, $10 until August 4th. So many roses in the store. It's going really well. People are taking advantage of it. And if you heard what I just said, a dozen roses wrapped and ready to go for $10. I've had a couple people ask me, where are the dollar roses? They see the graphic and they think that they're $1 because there's roses inside the 0 and the 10. I don't see $1, but I get it. $10, dozen roses wrapped and ready to go. All right, last thing, face masks, aisle 6, Muscatine logo, L&M logo, Wilton logo. That's where you'll find them here at the store. We are happy. Our friends at CBI Bank and Trust are donating 25 of the Muskie face masks to the Muskie softball team, heading to the state tournament for the first time in a while. So they'll pick those up tonight. Hy-Vee is supplying the softball team with some water and Gatorade, and we wish them well. I think they're having a send-off on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Look for more details on social media. All right, our first guest is here. He's ready to go. There is a theme. You can see behind me, if you're paying attention, some watermelon. There's a sign for the Watermelon Stampede. And ladies and gentlemen, Del Wagner is back with us. It's great to see you.
It's great to be here, Tony. Thank you very much for inviting us to be here today.
Yeah. I wish you would have told me. I would have worn my watermelon shirt.
Well, this is a shirt that comes out once a year.
Yeah.
It was given to me by a special friend many, many years ago. And
it's
it comes out once a year, but you brought it out for the second time this year.
Yeah.
It'll be apparent on August 15th when we have the Watermelon Stampede. I'm the only one that wears it.
I was going to say, it's a great shirt. I'm happy to tell people that indeed the Watermelon Stampede is happening this year. And I want to start there. So the decision to host the Watermelon Stampede, Del. A lot of events have been canceled, postponed. How much thought went into it? How many discussions were held? And then ultimately the answer was we're gonna host it on August 15th. But just give us a little background on what that process was like to arrive to the decision to do it.
Well, it wasn't a difficult decision, although it took a little while to find out. There were a couple of caveats to the whole thing that needed to take place before we could have this race. We, first of all, needed to make sure that the City of Muscatine, the City Council, would approve our application for the use of public property for the race. Every year we fill out an application for that, and it is kind of a given that we're going to get it, but this year it wasn't a given. I need to make sure that it was in front of the City Council early so that they could do it. They brought it before their group. There were no questions asked, and I believe it was a unanimous yes, that we should have the Watermelon Stampede go on. Second of all, Governor Reynolds has not implemented or re-implemented a stay-at-home, close down non-essential businesses, those types of situations. And so that prompted us to come up with the idea that, yes, it's okay. Yes, there are special conditions for this race. We'll talk about that a little bit. But statistically, it is something that doesn't trump our race. Other races have to have a large window to have it. Let's say the BICs, because they have so many thousand people, they have logistics, they have travel, that type of thing. When they had to decide whether to have their race, they couldn't do it. They couldn't make that decision. They couldn't make the decision to do it. So fortunately, our window was a lot smaller, and we are going to go ahead and have that race.
So let's talk about the special conditions, because we're here on the website. And people can see them, right? So if you're watching, we're talking about Watermelon Stampede, August 15th. Here's what you need to know. So there have been some changes.
There have been a few changes to the race. You wouldn't recognize it,
right?
Unless you were a true, and I hate to say a true runner. I don't mean it that way. Let's say you've done the Watermelon Stampede for many, many years.
Exactly.
What you're going to find this year that wasn't in place, of course, is please wear a face mask when you're not participating in the event itself. So before and after the event, wear a face mask. We're going to do potentially a wave start, which means that each person has a chip in their shoe, and they will have an individual clock, so they don't have to be all jammed right at the start to make sure that they get the fastest time ever.
Excellent.
Okay. More the snacks. Thanks to Hy-Vee, they're going to donate bottled water for our event, and other snacks will be prepackaged rather than open air cookies and bananas and oranges. Those types of things. Things are going to be prepackaged. Volunteers are all going to be masked and gloved. We're asking that. Social distance when you're not taking part in the race. We all know, we as maybe runners know that we really don't run side by side, close to close.
I was going to say, right.
They begin to stretch out on those types of things. The post race will start promptly at 9:20, allowing for people to understand when things are going to happen. And the other thing, of course, is we will have hand sanitizing stations available. MCSA is going to allow us again to use their facility for restrooms.
Excellent.
And the only thing there is they may require you to wear a face mask to go in, because they have senior citizens that stay at MCSA. And so we'll honor that.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I feel like to have this event in its, what, Del, 43rd year?
It's its 43rd year, starting in 1978.
It's absolutely incredible. And it's really, as far as in the area, I mean, we're on the eve of what would be normally BICS weekend, so BICS isn't happening.
Right.
There's not a lot of other road races happening. I don't know of any, maybe in Eastern Iowa. I don't know off the top of my head. So you you may have a larger turnout than expected, but you have the conditions in place, so you're prepared for that. Let's get a little bit of the history of this. So it's, for people that don't know, maybe 43 years of the Watermelon Stampede is incredible. Muscatine Running Club,
Correct.
The folks that are behind it. And for you, I think the answer is yes. You've been a part of it
For
how long?
since the race started in '78. I came along in 1983.
Wow. That is just great to have a longevity like that with any event. Most events are around 10, 15, 20 years at the most, and then they kind of fizzle out. But this is obviously something that people enjoy. Who makes up the Muscatine Running Club? You don't have to name names if it's a long list. I don't know. But it's certainly an effort to pull this event off, right? And the thing that people should know is that nobody's getting rich off of this event, right?
Right,
and it's,
right.
You know,
We have. Let me talk for just a second. Take a breath for a second,
take a
Tony.
sip.
Take a sip. And I know that you've got other things going on. Let's talk very briefly. I told Tony before we sat down, let's talk briefly about the history of running, and I don't mean back in the ancient days, but what we were talking about is in 1972, Frank Shorter won the Olympic gold medal. Then he won the silver medal in 1976. And then in 1977, we had this book that came out by Jim Fix. It was the preeminent book about running, and every small community decided, let's have a run.
awesome.
What they did was they tied their event to whatever hometown activity was coming around. The Bix Beiderbecke Festival was a jazz festival before it was a race. Wilton's Eager Beaver Run, Durant Dusk Hustle. Let's even go a little bit farther. If you know this one, you're a real runner. Back on Labor Day, there was the Donahue Sodbuster.
Wow.
So every small community, Grandview, the 4th of July, Wapello, Chief Wapello Days.
Yep.
Everybody wanted to put a race there to draw people to their event, maybe not just to have a race. So obviously Muscatine Watermelon Stampede, Great River Days, formerly Watermelon Days and Great River Days. Somebody came up with this, hey, let's have a run.
It's a great idea.
The rest is history. 43 years, I've been the race director for 33 years. I've been associated with it since 1983. The Muscatine Running Club is literally 3 people, John Sales, Peggy Bailey, and myself. But there are a lot of volunteers. There are 40 to 50 volunteers that you'll see the day of the race.
Wow. It's just 3 people. Now.
It's 3 people. But you know what? I see Chad Yoakum there behind the camera, and he's hitting this keyboard, and a long time ago, there were no keyboards, there was no computer, there was no IT. Peggy Bailey, bless her heart, is the IT person, because at 71 years old, I can't find it online.
But we can, and people need to know, you can very easily access the registration form for the 43rd Annual Watermelon Stampede. Is there, Del, a deadline to get signed up to secure T-shirt, or because we're sitting here on July 24th, the event is August 15th. What are the deadlines for signing up?
So the deadlines are, as of right now, there are T-shirts available. We guarantee T-shirts to the first 400 people. We have to also mention that we have a children's run. Believe it or not, when I polled people and said, would you bring your child to a children's watermelon stampede like we always have at the high school track on Friday night, their own separate event so that they don't get jammed in with the adults? People said yes. Oh my gosh, we can't wait. We're really excited to have an outdoor activity for our children. I think, again, this is not a soundboard for COVID-19, but what we're saying is we'll be careful. We're going to have the children. So yes, deadlines are to get the $20 entry. It's Tuesday before the event, but the deadline for entry is about 7:58 on Saturday morning because the gun goes at 8 o'clock.
Perfect.
You'll love this story of Rick Paul. I'll tell his story. He always thought all of the races started at 8 o'clock, but Grandview starts at 7:30.
Oh, no.
He showed up at 7:25, threw his wallet on the registration table and said, "I don't have time to pay. Here's my entry fee." Ran over to the start line and took off for the Grandview 4th of July race many years ago.
That is so great. So if you want to wait as late as Rick did for that Grandview story, you can, but please get
enter.
the shirt.
Yeah, what we really need to know is, Tony alluded to this a little while ago, that my line was for a long time, I don't know whether we're going to have 50 people or whether we're going to have 500 people, because A, either people are going to be really cautious, or B, they're going to be really desperate for a run because there hasn't been a run all summer.
Yep.
Right now we're sitting at about 90 people and maybe 10 or 12 people for the children's race. That number is up, believe it or not.
Wow.
We wouldn't have this many now. But enter early, because we need to know what kind of refreshments, what kind of volunteers, what kind of T-shirts.
Yep.
Those numbers we need to have. So, my plea is, I know a lot of our audience isn't planning to run it, but if you know people that are, hey, enter, as they said in Chicago, vote soon and vote often. We want you to enter soon so that we have an idea of how many people we're going to have.
So if we're speaking to people that maybe aren't going to run, do you need volunteers for the day of, for the Watermelon Stampede, August 15th, downtown Muscatine?
I'd love to say yes, but it pretty much is a core group of people who either are runners or know running.
Okay.
I'm not going to, especially this year, Tony, I wouldn't ask people
Sure.
that I didn't know, because I'm requiring them to do things that they may or may not want to do. Believe it or not, I asked somebody to volunteer the other day, and they asked, do I have to wear a mask? And I said yes, and they said, I won't wear a mask. Okay,
Gotcha.
I understand. So I'm not going to put my
Sure.
onus on someone to make them do something they don't want to do.
Well,
we'll get volunteers.
And listen, best case scenario, you have a successful event on the 15th of August, and then the 44th annual Stampede next year is back to business as usual, or as close to as usual as possible.
Boy, wouldn't we like to say that?
Yeah.
The prediction is, so if you talk to the Simon of Legree from The King and I, someone's going to say, oh, it's going to be back to normal on 2022. But I think one of the things, as we close here, I don't know how close we are, but one of the things I want to make sure is the Muscatine Running Club and Muscatine in general and the City Council and all of these people, we're not thumbing our noses at the establishment and saying, we're going to go ahead and have it. Forget what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Forget the things that we should or shouldn't be doing.
Sure.
We believe that we can have a safe race and provide something for the people of Muscatine and surrounding community. There were a lot of smiles in North Liberty when I went to the running store up there, and I said, we're having a race, and they said, you are?
It's outstanding.
Lynn County won't let us run.
Really?
Davenport right now won't grant a permit to use city streets. Well, it depends on what your conservative level is. But again, we're not thumbing our noses. We're saying, come on down, run, race, have a good time, social distance, and do that.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's coming up on Saturday, August 15th. It is going to be a good time. 43rd annual event with the Muscatine Running Club and the Watermelon Stampede. It's great that you're here. I appreciate the effort that's gone into this year, it's different. So many things are different, right?
Right.
So many things are different, and that's okay. We have to adapt and evolve, and if you're watching and this is right up your alley, we hope to see you there. If, like Del said, if it's someone you know that is an avid runner that maybe didn't hear about it, pass along the message. August 15th will be here soon. If you need anything in between now and then, let me know. I am going to do something. I am going to say that I reached out on Del's behalf to my friends at Kemp Precision Foods, and I said, hey, you got this Squincher product. You got this Squincher squeezer. It's like an electrolyte They got like electrolyte drinks. They got sugar-free drinks. They got sugar-free electrolyte popsicles. And I'm hoping that this little nudge will help them be at the event.
Yeah, we'd like to.
We'd like to see that.
I must admit, there are a lot of things, a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross,
Sure.
and one of those is to contact the people there. I know lots of people there. I'm a lifelong resident of Muscatine and
Sure.
and actually work there, but we're going to get a hold of them and see if they can help us out. A lot of things going on right now. A lot of things going on.
That was me just nudging my
Sure,
friend Bree.
absolutely,
My friend
absolutely.
Bree Coolers, if I could, and Jimmy Kent. I would just say to do it because it's a good thing. That's how I can do things. Dell doesn't like asking. I'm like, I'll ask him. Don't worry.
Don't
I
worry.
Don't ask for anything.
I know Jimmy Kent. His kids did track and field, so
no,
I know
listen,
that.
I know, but let me be the person that gives a little nudge.
There you
it's
go.
a good event, and listen, I mean, in the year where things are not happening, to have something happen in our backyard in Muscatine is fantastic. So I thank you again. Please let me know if you need anything.
I will.
And we'll keep talking about the watermelon stampede.
And if we need to nudge them one more time, you never know.
I got emails, buddy. I got emails.
I tell you
and
what,
phone
the
numbers.
number, somebody said once, you knew the car dead, call Fred.
That's
well,
right.
my number is 299-3309, and it's right on the entry form.
There you
got
go.
a question, give me a
I
call.
love it. Not afraid to put the digit out there. All right, let's go CVI Bank and Trust ILCAM. Del Wagner with Watermelon Stampede coming very soon, Saturday, August 15th, downtown Muscatine. Going to be a good time. And there's breakfast, right? Breakfast, most important meal of the day. You're seeing that on the screen. It's a $5 breakfast. Look at that. Every day we've got a different $5 special here in the Market Grill Express where we're doing the show from. Again, keep in mind, Market Grill Express is open for business. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Thank you, pal. Always a pleasure. And looking forward to seeing you soon. Okay, so I want to mention a couple of things, and I want to show what's in this giant box that I have. So I'm going to move this watermelon, and we can get Kyle in position if he's here. So I got this deal that I want to tell you guys about, and I wasn't expecting to mention this, but this is pretty cool. So if you're wondering, you're thinking, Tony, that's not the typical what's in the box. Well, you'd be correct. This is something that you can buy here in the store, and I'm going to open this. This is at the back of aisle 11, and listen, a couple months ago, it was hard to get toilet paper, right? Maybe you are sitting on a large supply of toilet paper, and that's okay. We had uncertain times for a while. People were buying things, and maybe you thought, things were going to close down, and you bought out of concern. I get it. I did the same thing a little bit. This is something that we brought in that is literally a giant box of toilet paper. All right. So this is $20, and it's a whole bunch of TP. Okay. So I want you to know this is in the back of aisle 11. And Chris, I think on one of the flaps it says, I keep hitting myself with a microphone. Is it right here? Where's that sticker? Come in on that. So listen, 24 rolls of TP per case. There's 750 sheets per roll. So this is also kind of a gift from Steve Graham, who's no those like suppliers that would supply TP for like a business. But you could buy this if you need it. It's a case of toilet paper, and it's $20. I mean, look at how much TP this is. And if you're like me, I got 5 people in my house. I got 3 kids. Listen, this is an awesome deal, and I'm gonna buy one. So they're at the back of aisle 11. It just looks like a cardboard box, but inside it's gold. There's gold in that box. Not fool's gold. TP. All right? So, and maybe you just want to TP your neighbor's house. Maybe you want to TP your neighbor's house that is also a beer maker, which is the best segue I can do right now. Kyle McDonald is my neighbor, and he is the head brewer at Contrary Brewing here in Muscatine, and he is on the show, and it's good to see you. I promise I will not TP your house.
Okay, well, I know if it gets...
You would know.
If one tree gets TP'd, who did it? So.
It would be an old-fashioned case of who done it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
My pleasure. I was sitting on the front porch last night enjoying peanut butter porter from Contrary, and it was delicious, as all the beers are. But today, Kyle, we have something. And Chris, do you mind? Can you help me with this? I was just going to push it, then I'm like, I can't drop this off the table. Thank you. I'm helpless, as you can see. I appreciate that, Chris Anderson. Kyle, so Contrary does a lot of cool things. Been in Muscatine for what, 5 years now?
Myself?
Almost 6. Well, the Contrary Brewing, is it 5 years?
Contrary, our 5-year anniversary was
Yeah.
this past April.
That's right.
We didn't get a hold of celebration for obvious reasons, but we're hoping maybe come the fall, maybe a 5.5
Yes.
Oktoberfest type celebration.
It's a great idea.
We're a long ways away, and who knows what will happen. But hopefully, at some point, we will be celebrating a 5 or 5.5,
Yeah.
or at some point our anniversary.
So there's a lot of things that happen at Contrary. There's been different events and various beer releases, but I feel like what's going on later today is special. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but has a release like this happened? So I want you to explain, Chris, I want to get a shot of what Kyle's brought. So explain what's happening tonight, and I have no idea how to pronounce. It's a Russian Imperial.
It's a Russian Imperial Stout.
Okay.
That has been aged in bourbon barrels.
Wow.
It's called Savus,
Savus.
which is Finnish for depth or the abyss.
Okay.
And so we started with a beer that we brewed back in January of 2019. Then we aged it in bourbon barrels for 16 months and took it out.
Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. You said that beer was from 2019, and then it was put in a bourbon barrel for 16 months. And there's the website, by the way, for the Contrary Brewing, contrarybrewing.com. Savus. 16 months? I mean, do you check on it? How do you know? This is a dumb question. How do you know when it's done?
I mean, it's all based on flavor, really.
Okay.
From experience, I usually don't check my barrels until at least 6 months in.
Wow.
Some people will check them more frequently, but usually I started about the 6-month period, gauge it from there. I think we probably waited 3 months at least to the 9-month mark.
Okay.
And then as we got into the 12, 13 months, it was a monthly, tasting. And when, we kind of came to the conclusion that we thought it was ready and it tasted the way we wanted to, we pulled it out of the barrels, and then we actually have about 4 versions of the same beer. The black wax here is just the standard barrel-aged Imperial Stout,
okay,
with nothing added to it other than the barrel.
Perfect.
The gold label here is our Mexican style. It's brewed with a blend of 4 different chili peppers, cinnamon, cocoa nibs, and vanilla beans.
Ho ho!
The green wax is a hazelnut coffee.
Awesome.
Variant. And then for the burgundy one here, which we're very proud of and very excited about, is a chocolate covered peanut.
Oh my gosh.
So we're pretty excited about that. But so yeah, the release is this afternoon. It's only starting at 3 o'clock. It's only the second time Contrary's ever done a bottle release. We did one last April, I believe, around our 4-year anniversary.
Yep.
So we'll have 4 packs available, which include 1 of each of the bottles, and those are priced at $80, tax included. You can also buy single bottles if you would like. The regular version is $18 for a bottle individually, and the variants are $22 each. We will also have a limited amount of each on draft this afternoon.
Gosh.
So if people want to come in and have a flight, sample any or all of them before they buy or after they buy, they're more than welcome to. So we will have that available this afternoon. Pretty limited amounts on the draft, but people will have an opportunity if they so wish to taste it before they purchase the bottles.
Like you're like a mad scientist.
A little bit.
Like 16 months, and then you have variances off of the original. Savus is fun to say, by the way, and this is something that. So I wonder, Kyle, like. Obviously, they're not going to. I mean, if you show up at 8 o'clock tonight, they're probably going to be gone.
We actually did a lot more.
You have
this
a lot
time.
more?
Yeah, so we have 250 bottles of each.
Holy moly!
So never know what to expect. We're
Sure.
not expecting. We kind of didn't go all in with the bottle release in terms of promoting it and stuff. Where what we normally would have done in normal times when we could pack the tap room and people and make it a real party. So. We're hoping for more of a kind of a slow and steady rollout versus hopefully not the 50 people in line or whatever when we open. But so I would never can say, because that's only 254 packs if everyone comes in. I would anticipate having it into tomorrow and probably into Sunday. But don't quote me on that because you never know. I've been wrong before and I'll be wrong again. But we do have quite a few more bottles than last time.
So is this, Kyle, something that people, and by the way, today, 3 o'clock, Contrary Brewing, the Savus release. Is it something that people will buy and hang on to? Because that'll happen, right? So I have a beer in my garage fridge that somebody gave me as a housewarming present that I haven't opened. And sometimes I think it's like 12%, so that's probably why.
Sure.
But it's not like I'm going to resell it. You know what I mean? And is this something? I obviously want people to enjoy it. You've made it. You've crafted it. But there are people that will like maybe come and have a glass on draft, and then they'll hang on to it,
Absolutely.
which is fine. By the way, do whatever you want. Get all 4 of them.
There are a lot of people, who kind of collect bottles or whatever and buy them faster than they can drink them, and then so some do sit. Generally speaking, I would encourage people to drink the three colored waxes fresher, because some of those flavors sometimes over time will fade.
Okay.
They'll change and evolve, and they won't go bad, but some of the flavors will fade. Part of aging it for 16 months is I bottle it when I think it's ready to be drank. So I do encourage people to drink it fresh, or at least taste it fresh, so they know, they know what it was fresh. And then if you want to lay a couple down for a year or two, I still have bottles from every bottle release I've ever done, including the first one back in 2011. So, people will definitely collect them, and some people will drink them fresh. And I would encourage you to at least taste them all fresh, and then do whatever you want with the bottle. We did go to a 500 milliliter size as well, down from the 22 ounce from last year, just because the beer is at about 13.6%.
Wow.
So it's a big boy. So we thought maybe 22 ounces might be a little bit too much. You're maybe talking 3 or 4 people. For most people to drink something like this, we think this is a nice size that's very easily doable for 2 people. And if you're a big drinker, you can probably put one down yourself. But
it's just really exciting to have Contrary Brewing in Muscatine. It's a destination that pulls people in, which is so beneficial for the community as a whole. And this again is today, the Savus release. It would be one thing to just, and this is the focal point of the conversation, but it'd be one thing to just have the Savus, but then on Facebook you had like 3 beers come on tap yesterday or Wednesday, or so you're busy. You're still making beer all the time.
Absolutely.
Obviously keeping up with the popular ones. But let's talk about the 3 editions. And by the way, I don't know if anybody names beer better than you guys do. So can you, Chad, keep that there for a minute. Walk us through the 3 new editions of Contrary.
Okay, so first off, you see the Astley Paradox Pale Ale there. If you don't get it, Google Rick Astley.
I get it.
And for anyone out there, and you'll find his most popular song, and it should make sense to you then. It's a really nice pale ale, dry hopped, as it says, with Galaxy and citrus, so very, very fruit forward, with some dank undertones to it. It's really nice, easy drinking. Not like the double IPA, something a little bit more suited for summertime. We have the Cherry Lime Margarita, which is a Goza, which is a old traditional German style that's slightly tart and brewed with sea salt. As you can see there, we added some real cherries and key lime to the beer, and so it's kind of got that cherry lime margarita flavor going on there. I encourage people to come buy a crowler and then maybe drop a shot of tequila in it at home.
Holy
I don't know.
Moly.
I tried. I liked it. So.
It's National Tequila Day.
Are you serious?
Today. Yeah.
Okay, well then everyone should come in and buy a crowler of the cherry lime margarita and take it home and drop some tequila in it on a salt rimmed glass, and I promise you won't be disappointed.
That sounds like a party. I want to go back because the last, Mike Snook, who works here and also part-time at Contrary, told me a little bit about, so delivery room blueberry multi-grain pancake.
Yes.
There's a story here?
There is a story there.
Okay.
My wife and I had our first child back in January, and obviously spent a couple days, the first day in the delivery room waiting for her to go into labor, and limited food menu obviously at the hospital, and one of the nurses said that was one of the better things on the menu. They had multi-grain blueberry pancakes, so I ordered them. I think my wife ordered them 2 or 3 more times during our stay, and I think I had them once more, not trusting hospital food fully. So, and they were actually pretty good. And so I was sitting there, I don't know, it dawned on me, I was like, this could make a really interesting beer beer combination of flavors.
Absolutely.
So we took a variety of different grains. We started, barley, oats, spelt, and rye to give you that multi-grain flavor. And then we added some blueberry puree and some maple syrup to finish it off.
Wow.
So it has that, at first you get the multi-grain, and then you get some blueberries, and it finishes with like a nice maple syrup flavor to it. So
that's like eating a blueberry pancake.
Yes, it's
unbelievable.
Very, very unique.
So I love blueberries. My favorite fruit for sure. Blueberries. The blueberry avalanche that you guys had is so refreshing. So when I saw that, I was like, I'm in. And that's what I think is so great about Contrary is, you've got, Kyle, something for everybody. And I understand for people that are watching, if you're in Muscatine County and you haven't been to Contrary yet, you should go and try their beer. It's great. But like, there are people that, they're like, this is what I drink, and I don't know if the craft beer is for me. And I'm here to tell you, you can start towing the water, and very quickly, your palate will just go, whoa, what have I been missing? And that's how it is for me. And I'm not like a seasoned pro by any means, but I know when I try something for the first time and appreciate it, it's an incredible experience.
Yeah.
And everything on tap at Contrary will do that for you.
A couple of things real quick. First, a shameless plug on the Blueberry Lemonade Avalanche. We just did a canning run the past 2 days. So we have 100 cases of cans,
Awesome.
4 of our more popular beers. We have the Blueberry Lemonade Avalanche, which you just mentioned. We have our Orange Dream Avalanche, which is brewed with orange peel and tangerine. And then we have our Pollinator Honey Wheat, which is one of our flagships, does really well for us. And then our Cure for Pessimism IPA. So not only can people come down at 3 o'clock today and pick up a 4-pack of bottles, or 2 or 3 4-packs of bottles, we have no limit for those of you who might be interested in bottle limits. There aren't any. But pick up a couple 4-packs or a case of your, some other favorite beer, something a little bit more easy drinking maybe to start off. I hear it's supposed to be in the 90s this weekend, so the 4 can beers, all 4 are great choices for sitting out in the hot sun and drinking some beer.
It's just a great experience. Again, I encourage you to go to Contrary. The evolution to the canning is really exciting.
Absolutely.
Being able to pick up the 4-packs and come down and say, and again, maybe your experience is like this. You go in, you try something, you're like, wow, that's really good, and then you're able to take it home. It makes it that much better. The next step seems like getting into retail stores. I don't know what that looks like. I don't expect you to have an answer. People can go to Contrary. It's just as easy. If you're in town, if you're out of town, it's worth the trip. So I don't want to ask what's next, because what's next is Savus and cool releases like this, and 3 new beers on tap. I assume at the same time, you're back in the lab crafting the next wave of new Contrary beers, probably, right?
Always.
So what I want to ask that then. So the 3 releases, we're in summer. Are you looking ahead to fall, Oktoberfest?
Yep.
Is there something that'll be coming out in August?
We're starting to look towards, starting to kind of transition into looking at some of the fall beers.
Okay.
I would say sometime in September we'll probably bring back, sometime in September we'll definitely bring back our Taylor's Market Butternut Squash Ale. We get squash from Taylor's Market here locally and roast them all, and then we brew an ale with that with some spices. We'll also have the Oktoberfest obviously coming up as well, probably early to mid-September. We have, what else do we have? We've got a couple new hazy IPAs, double IPAs and stuff in the works. And we got a couple other, we got a few other things. We're looking at maybe another bottle release. We do have more of this beer.
Cool.
Probably whenever we do our 5.5-year anniversary party.
That's good.
We'll probably do a couple different variants, but so we're always thinking about more options for variants on this beer. So we got that going on, and we're looking forward to our next canning run. We don't have a date scheduled yet, but we'll probably mix it up a little bit, look into some more of the fall type type beers and get those in cans for people.
Chocolate peanut.
Correct.
Beer.
Yes.
I don't want to ask how, because sometimes you don't want to know how the magician performs the trick, but I mean, it's wild, right? I mean, what you're seeing in front of you is very, very cool, limited, and I can't even imagine. I mean, I know what time I'm getting off work. I'm almost inclined to say, leave that 4-pack here and I'll bring the money down later, but I don't want it to sell out. And you said you got enough, so I'm not super worried. But like, that's just that's great to have those variances, and I just don't understand like how it's right. That's what to me is like. is it by committee, or you're like, Mark, try this, Jeff, come here, try, like, you know, because you know what you're doing, obviously. But I feel like if you're like, hey, what do you think? I'd be like, it's fantastic. Like, it needs 2 more months. I don't know, you know. But obviously, it's ready, it's here, and that's incredible that you can tell, and you've, like you said, you've paid attention to it along the way. But 16 months later, here you go. This is outstanding. You just could tell, though, huh?
Yeah. You can just. You know, having worked with barrels, it's a little bit harder, I think, when you first start working with barrels. You know, I've been barrel aging since 2010 or 2011, so I kind of have a feel for different beers, and it depends on the beer in the barrel. This beer is monster fresh. It's almost, I don't want to say it's undrinkable fresh before it's barrel aged, but it was a recipe specifically designed to sit in barrels and hold up over time and hold up to a lot of barrel character. Some lighter style beers, you know, don't necessarily need to age as long, and so I would be tasting those sooner rather than later. And I've just started playing around with some other barrels. We have a couple rum barrels with German's chocolate cake in it that will be out at some point, but it's not ready yet. But so the rum barrels, I'm finding, take a little bit less time. It's picking up more character out of the barrel more quickly than the bourbon barrels.
Is it a certain type of bourbon barrel that you use? I guess I don't know.
We mix it up just based on what's available. These 4 came out of 4 Roses barrels.
Awesome.
The next year's batch, which is already brewed in barrels, are in Jack Daniel's barrels. Which I've had a lot of luck with in the past, so I was happy that we were able to find them again at a good price. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for this, and I'm excited for the next one, and excited for all the things to come.
Man, I have nothing else to say except get to contrary. This guy hit it out of the park. 3 o'clock today for the Savus. I don't know why I thought it was going to be harder to pronounce. Savus, it's easy.
Yeah, we even have the, I don't even see that. We even have the like phonetic pronunciation there on
Brad,
the back.
please, zoom in on the phonetic breakdown is great. So it's like Tony proof. Hang on, keep it right there, Kyle. There you go. Look at that. Savus.
Yep. So Savus.
Savus.
So everyone knows how to pronounce it, because the spelling's kind of tricky.
There will be a quiz later after a couple of those. So 3 o'clock today, Contrary Brewing, downtown Muscatine. You can sit outside and look at the river. You can sit in the tap room. It's a great place. Please support Contrary. I mean, certainly it's been a challenging time with the pandemic, but I feel like people have been there, whether they're...
The support throughout the pandemic and stuff has been amazing. Still now, but especially when everything was closed and we were doing to-go only, the amount of to-go orders and beer we were selling was amazing. The community really rallied around and supported us through a obviously very difficult time.
Well, it's just, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, do you want, you know, to get outside of this and ensure the Contrary is there? Then you go and you support them. I mean, that's, you know, my garage beer fridge was packed. But I kept telling my wife, I was like, I have to put my money where my mouth is. I can talk about, you know, places like Contrary and have folks like yourself on the show, but I gotta show up and support them, and I love the business, and the Savus is super cool, and I hope that if you're watching this, you check it out. Or maybe you're just a huge Rick Astley fan and you're like, they named beer after Rick Astley? You could Rick roll your friends, and if you don't know what that is, please, never going to give you up. I don't want to say too much because, you know, these copyright infringement people, they're crazy. You start singing the song. But get to Contrary, check that out. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it very much. The Savus release is a 4-pack for $80, available as individuals, but just get the 4-pack. You're saving money on the 4-pack. It's an awesome deal, and you're going to have a wild ride just having your own tasting at home, or whether it's at the tap room. Like, it's cool. It's a great experience.
Absolutely.
If you're watching kids in your trampoline and there's Rick Astley, perfect. Rick Astley will be at Contrary tonight at Never 30. So you never know. I mean, maybe Rick.
Maybe he saw the beer name and he was so intrigued that he's going to come down. I don't know. We can't rule that out.
No, I mean, anything is possible, Kyle. It snowed on Halloween. We're in a pandemic. What else could happen, right?
Rick Astley could show up at Contrary this afternoon.
We had murder hornets. Rick Astley could be in town right now. It's fantastic. All right, let's go CBI Bank and Trust, ISLCAM, get to Contrary Brewing. Thank you again. I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely.
Keep up the good work, man. It's so exciting to watch the evolution of Contrary. It's great. And hey, don't forget, dozen roses, $10. Awesome deal here at the store through August 4th. Just a great opportunity to buy roses for your significant other, buy roses for yourself. If you don't like roses, hey, guess what? Donate $10 and I will deliver roses on your behalf to places like Lutheran Living Senior Campus or Sunnybrook or Premier's Day, wherever people could use their day to be brightened, I'm happy to do it because I think it's important that we remember folks and take good care of them. All right, today, as I mentioned, it's National Tequila Day, so that timed out perfectly, right? We've got some tequila over here with the Hornitos tequila right there. Check that out. That's good looking. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest tequila drinker, but I feel like Hornitos is good. I've had it. And I would mix it with that mix Kayleen recommended. Wine and spirits, great selection of tequila. It's also thermal. Oh my goodness, what's in the box? Is it a present for me? It's also National Thermal Engineer Day. It is Cousins Day. I got a lot of cousins. Big family. I'm the oldest on my dad's side. And on my mom's side, I don't know where I'm at. I got older cousins. Not that they're old, but they're older than me. Now that my cousins are going to think I just called them old. Perfect. They're all in the Chicago area. They'll probably never see this. And it is National Amelia Earhart Day. So we've got a little bit of Flight Journal. And yes, we do subscribe to Flight Journal. Mm-hmm. In this month's edition of Flight Journal, Sole Survivors. That's a depressing headline. What are they doing? A pilot and his Marine Corps. Yeah, I mean, the Sole Survivors, though, that's like, this is all. But hey, listen, I had a cousin that flew. What did he fly? Speaking of Cousins Day, F-18s, maybe? Is that a plane? Is it an F-18 a plane? Did I just see an F-18 in here? No. But I had a cousin, Benjamin, that was a pilot for the Navy. I think I'm getting that right. I could be way wrong. My mom will see this later and be like, that was not him. Anyways, let's do what's in the box. Enough about my family. Toyota Muscatine, what's in the box? Eyes closed, heart full. Can I figure it out? Okay. Toyota Muscatine also sponsoring that. Is this tequila? Yeah, look at that. How about that? I was like, wait a minute. This feels like a box that has booze in it. Yeah, I'm familiar with Patron. Let's get it facing the right way, Tony. There we go. A little silver Patron there. That's great. So again, celebrate responsibly. And as Kyle was saying, Contrary's got that new margarita that you can add some tequila to. I had mentioned to Chris before we started, I was curious if we had any Tremana, and I don't even know if I'm saying that right, Tremana tequila, and apparently we're sold out, and that's the tequila that is owned by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So Dwayne "The Rock," of course, because you get to a certain level of celebrity where you have your own tequila. I'm just trying to get one beer named after me. I ain't got no tequila company money. I don't have, I can barely afford a little Starbucks over here. But I'm always willing to sell out. So whether it's Tony Tone Tequila, or Tony Tone almond milk, or I have to pay for these kids. I can't hold this racket up forever. Or how about Tony Tone Old Smoky Tennessee Mountain Made Salty Watermelon Whiskey? Sure, that's a mouthful. This is whiskey that tastes like watermelon? Wowzers. Well, we did talk about the watermelon stampede, didn't we? How about that? That's wild, isn't it? Yeah, handcrafted in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So what I'm saying is I'm available. I told you my idea with Contrary, Tony Tone Ale, and donate $1 from each pour to the domestic violence shelter. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm trying to help people. All right? And then we've got, what do we have? Why do we have a snorkel set? What's with this? Where's this at in the store? Aisle 6? Seasonal aisle? Yeah? All right. So here you go. Aisle 6, the new seasonal aisle. You've got a little Aqua Flow Play snorkel set, everybody. I feel like every kid growing up had this. And then you would lose a piece, and then, for me, I always had a big head, literally, not figuratively. So I'd have to go to, like, the furthest one, you know what I mean? Like, stretch it out, and then it was like, and then you'd take it off, and you'd have, like, the marks because of my big head. Yeah. I never did good with the breathing thing either. You get a little panicky. You're like, I don't know if I can breathe. I don't know if I can't do it. And then inevitably you just turn this into a squirt gun. That's what you do, right? You turn it into a squirt gun, and then it sinks to the bottom of Lake Gitchigumi. And then Chris has been waiting to show this. This is a... This is perfect. If you've been wanting to turn your watermelon into a booze container, this is for you. This is the professional model. Brad, you got to come right up to this top row. Step 1, cut off the top of your watermelon and scoop out the fruit. You don't want the fruit anyways. Step 2, insert the stabilizing feet. Step 3, insert the tap. Step 4, remove cutting portion. Step 5, fill and press to dispense the juice. Now, what I would tell you to do is to not remove the watermelon. What some people will do is they'll cut a hole in the watermelon, and then they'll put like a drill, like think about a blender, and then you liquefy the watermelon, and you add in your favorite mixer. Excuse me. Maybe it's a little Patron or a little. This would probably be better because it's watermelon flavored, and then you serve it out of the melon itself. In moderation. Yeah. Here's the business end of the deal. Right here. That is going right in that watermelon. But then what do you do when the watermelon's empty? That seems very wasteful. What do? You have that one friend that's like skimming the watermelon. You can still taste the booze. No, stop. We have to use all of the watermelon. It sounds like a good idea. I've never done it before. Has anybody done that? Where you like blend the watermelon and then make it into a cocktail? It's kind of ingenious, right? I've had watermelon beer. We had one of those a couple of years ago, and it was fine. All right, enough about watermelon. Let's talk about a couple things, and we'll get out of here for the weekend. So let me see. The local ad. We'll go back to that really quick. So on the back page of the Discover Muscatine newspaper, let me see what time it is. All right, perfect. So on the back of the Discover Muscatine newspaper, here's the ad. A couple of different things going on. And we can check on the fighting lobsters if you want to. I don't want to not mention that the lobsters and the tank were fighting earlier. We've got dinner for 4 if you don't want to cook tonight or this weekend. With Hy-Vee Chinese. You can also support MCSA and the Salvation Army when you purchase some bakery fresh buns. And you can get some freebies with ribs and Deluso, chicken or turkey. How about some calzones with some free breadsticks? That's fantastic. Below that, listen, if you're over 50 years old, get the shingles shot. I know there's a lot, other things to worry about, but you don't want shingles to creep up on you. If you're over 50 and you have insurance, it'll be covered. Nicole was here on Monday. She talked about Medicare Part D and the other Medicares that I don't remember. Just ask the question and then get the shingles shot. You can do it right here at the store. They'll take good care of you. How about 10-cent fuel saver on any breakfast? Turn your breakfast into cheap gas, and then come and see us this Monday for that fuel saver. I think, is Chris back there? We'll see. So we have a lobster tank in the seafood department, and apparently this morning, 2 of the now here's what Captain John told me. These lobsters, this is true, and we'll show you the tank in a second. Did John tell you guys this? They were hiding under the bottom part. They pulled up the bottom part of the tank, and they were hiding under, and I'm not exaggerating, they were hiding in the lobster tank. So see the bottom there where there's like those slits? They managed to pull that up, and they were hiding. So there is Larry, the lobster, and his arch nemesis. Oh, look at that. This is just like a heavyweight duel. You just saw Mike Tyson coming out of retirement to fight, right? This is Holyfield Tyson, right? So these guys were apparently foxy boxing earlier. And listen, they're lobsters. Their claws are, rubber band for a reason. And they're looking for a good home, and they just want to take a hot bath. That's all they said, They love a hot bath. They love butter. And there's something about seeing them now, and I should stop saying that, because it's now they're like, I want to just adopt them all and have them be my pets, but not going to happen. So they were fighting earlier, which is awesome, because then they do this move, and they do this with their little rubber-banded lobster claws. And they look at how close they are to fighting right there. They're just like right there. They're getting you. So please buy those lobsters so they'll stop fighting. Or we're going to have to put one of them on timeout. And the timeout chair for a lobster is boiling water. You know how that ends. It ends in deliciousness. Okay. $10 dozen roses. What else can I say? Listen, I've got roses right here. Look at this. And roses on the screen. Roses everywhere. Every rose has its thorn, if you'll have it. Look at that display in the salad bar. Just like every night has its dawn. Every cowboy sings a sad, sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Get some roses for $10. I'm going to probably take home 3 dozen, 2 dozen for my wife. I'll give my mom a dozen roses, and they'll both probably say, you didn't have to do that. I'm like, they're $10. I have to do it. I have all these vases, right? Maybe that's how you justify it. I don't have a ton of vases. I probably got 3 vases at the house, maybe 4 vases or vases. What do? They just take up space, so you might as well get a dozen roses for $10, put them in the vase. They look excellent. We got a vase right behind me. We got watermelon right behind me, right? So, and it's a nice gesture, okay? It's a nice thing to do for $10. Consider that. Chris bring a lobster. I was like, please don't bring a lobster. Holy moly. It's like, he did not. But I thought for a second, I'm like, this guy's bringing a lobster in here. I think there's a line, and the line is no live lobsters in the set in the restaurant. Or in the box, thank you. The Toyota Muscatine, what's in the box. If it ever is a lobster, you'll know, because I will throw it carefully. All right. The face masks for Muscatine, L&M, and Wilton are in aisle 6 if you're looking for them. CBI Bank and Trust, shout out to Bob Howard and the crew. They're donating 25 of the Muskie face masks to the Muskie softball team that are gearing up for a run in the state tournament for the first time in a couple of years. So good job, CBI Bank and Trust. Thanks for doing that. If you're looking to purchase them, what are you doing, Brad? You going to get a lobster? I can see you. All right. I see you, man. I got you. And I got Chris. I got good peripheral vision. I can see both of you. All right, good. Okay, anyways, that's in aisle 6. Let's go quick. So contact-free options in the pharmacy. Speaking of the pharmacy, if you are trying to social distance, you can go through the drive-thru. You can have your prescriptions delivered. If you're in Muscatine city limits, if you're outside of Muscatine, there's a little bit of a fee. Otherwise, we got free delivery, rocking and rolling. And we'll take good care of you. And you can also refill your prescriptions online. And listen, drive-through flu shots are coming very soon. Okay, teaming up with Feeding America to end hunger, purchase products, and we'll supply a meal to those in need. So this is a great deal. Hy-Vee's doing it across the board. And look at that. You buy a box of Frosted Mini Wheats, and you've supplied a meal for someone in need. Crackers in there, the townhouse and the club ones, some drinks, and it's a good cause. Please consider helping out and ending hunger. What's on my list? July food court specials. I think I sent it today. So let's show you what you can have for lunch or dinner. Today is Friday. You can do a Chinese dinner for $6. You can do a BOGO from the Market Grill Express. Buy one, get one free. That's a fantastic deal, right? Ribs ready to go. Boney and the crew take care of you. Fish dinner. We showed you breakfast earlier on the show. And then some specials heading into the weekend. Check those out. And we'll take good care of you. Okay. The last thing I want to mention is just a shameless plug for Lefty and the Spinners tonight. Live in concert, 6 p.m. Today's Friday, the 24th of July at Arden Creek. There you go. Music in the Vineyard. Arden Creek, another one of those local businesses we're trying to support. Obviously, many of you know Mike Furlong passed away, unfortunately, not too long ago. His wife, Diane, is running the show, doing a great job, and they would love to see you tonight for Lefty and the Spinners. 6 o'clock is music. You can see the details, $10 cover charge per person. Picnic snacks are welcome. They've got, of course, beer and Arden Creek wine available, and their team will take good care of you. Okay, well, I feel like that's it. We've had a good week here. A lot of great guests, some first-timers. Yesterday, we talked to Mr. Clint Christopher, superintendent with Muscatine Community Schools. If you missed that, you can always rewatch the shows on Facebook or YouTube. Catch them throughout the weekend on MPW Cable Channel 5. And we look forward to next week. I have no idea who's on the show next week. I don't have it in front of me. I'm not going to pretend like I do. But Rick Astley will be here, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll look forward to talking to Rick and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the studio. No, I'm kidding. But listen, if you have any guest suggestions, please email me, HyVee today@gmail.com. It's right on the screen. We're always looking for local guests to talk to. I don't assume to know everything that's going on. So if I'm missing something in Wilton or West Liberty or Durant or Tipton or wherever you're at, reach out and come on the show. It's that easy. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? Is to educate you, inform you, and have a little fun at the same time, and maybe a lobster fight. Where else are you going to get that? Nobody else. Who's got lobsters fighting? Nobody. Well, Paul Sands doesn't have that, right? You know, Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady doesn't have lobsters potentially fighting. We got that for you. So thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. And our guest today did an excellent job. Del Wagner with the Watermelon Stampede, a road race that is coming up on August 15th. Watermelon Stampede. Get signed up. You can see watermelons behind me. And Del would love to see you there with the Muscatine Running Club. And, of course, our friend Kyle McDonald, head brewer, my neighbor, Contrary Brewing. They've got a very cool release with Savus happening, Russian Imperial Stout. Bottle release today, 3 p.m. Support their business. And please, come to the store. We're here for you. What do you need? You need to celebrate National Tequila Day? I've got you. You need some watermelon? Got you. You need $10 for a dozen roses? We're here for you, and we're ready to take good care of you. At the very least, have a great weekend. Stay cool, and we'll be back on Monday. Thanks to CBI Bank and Trust, Toyota Muscatine, and Lutheran Living Senior Campus. That's it for today, folks. We are out of here. Goodbye.
Watching Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone.
Be very, very quiet while hunting wabbits.
We'll do it again tomorrow with more local guests from in and around the Muscatine community.
I'm trying to emote for the play that the alumni are putting on in Wilton this Friday, Saturday.
Questions, comments, know a great guest? Reach out to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone on Facebook or via email, hyveetoday@gmail.com.